welcome back. Have I got something to show you today? This is something I found outside in the wild. Yep, I came across this. And after that, I scooped it back up and I brought it home. Is it going to work? Where did it come from? Why? I'm going to try and answer all of it. And a very, very quick history of what this format is. This is going to be a quicker video than the last one, so let's get going.
Good afternoon, tossers.
So this, if you haven't seen one before, is a U-Matic recorder. If you don't know U-Matic, audience, this is U-Matic, U-Matic, this is the audience. A kind of clunky workaday format that was popular in the 70s and 80s, but we'll get onto a bit of the history of it, and I do mean a very quick history of it later on. So we can say that this thing is in an absolute state. Yeah, and not only that, as a final insult, before throwing it out in the cold, some helmet decided to strip it naked. So I don't know, there might even be wildlife living in this. With that in mind, the first thing I've got to do before I try and power this up is open it up and check it. Lest Mr. Tiggy Winkle ends up with a tingle around his winkle when I plug it in. I'm much kinder than most channels. I won't make you watch me open this up because nobody cares. But we'll have a quick tour of the inside of it. There was no wildlife that I found, except if you're an arachnophobe, look away now because there were quite a few spiders in this. This cap looks like a leaky thing, but until I know that this thing actually works, I don't care. All I really cared about was that it was dry inside, there was no wildlife, and nothing obviously dangerous or missing. I gave the head a quick spin as well, and that was all spinning freely, so that's a good sign if nothing else.
And a bit of real talk before we carry on. Bring it in. Come in. With things you find in dumps, no more than you would rub them against your genitals or lick them. Don't just bring things home and just plug them in, because if you play stupid games, you will win stupid prizes. I have genuinely given this a proper electrical check with my novelty pack tester. Right, normal service resumed. Perhaps someone can help me with this. I just noticed this. This was owned by somebody apparently with the name TIMMY Epic. I want to meet you, TIMMY Epic. You sound like a fun guy to hang out with, and you could get me the other side of the velvet rope. So if you're watching, or anybody does know TIMMY Epic, drop him a link. Put a comment below. Love to hang out, mate. Let's power this up. Okay, right, I have plugged it in. Let's see what happens. Also, I have left the top cover off. Should we have an unexpected pyrotechnic incident, at least I can flap my hand about and try and put the flames out nice and quickly. Also, I have got the switch for the plug just behind me out of shot. Let's see what happens when I hit this. Contact. Oh, made a noise. Screen's lit up. The U-meters are lit up. It's partially laced. Yeah, that's rough as dogs, but these normally sound like that anyway, and it has well, it was left out in the fucking cold, weren't it? Promising. I'm going to set the screen up so we can have a look at this and see if it actually plays. But just while I'm doing that, it's probably only fair to tell you a bit about the tape if you haven't seen one, because not many people have seen a U-Matic tape, and they are actually quite interesting. This is a U-Matic tape. We'll cover a brief history of the U-Matic format in a moment. So there's a few different types of these. There's this one, which is not strictly the one I should be using with this machine. The experts will have pointed out this is an SP tape, to which I say, I know, I don't care. There's also a big, like the Beta Cam, there's a big girthy version as well, but I don't have one of those handy. Round the back, no conventional hubs like a normal tape. These sort of have 3 little dots in there instead. But the most interesting thing about a U-Matic cassette is that the tape comes off of that side, goes up, across and down. So these reels contra-rotate when the tape's in play. Fascinating, huh? Let's have a quick look at the history of it.
So the fastest history in the world of U-Matic. So it was released in 1971, having been developed by Sony, but all the Japanese brands seemed to come on board with it. If only if that good-natured bonhomie could have continued 10 years later. It's a 3/4 inch cassette system. It was marketed as a kind of home, kind of professional system, not being astonishingly popular in the home. Although for electronic news gathering, that's going out with a camcorder and recording things for the evening news, it really did find its forte, and it very quickly supplanted film in most markets. Otherwise it was never good enough for full-fledged studio production, but useful nevertheless. Sony officially stopped supporting it in 2001, but by that point it had been long supplanted by the infinitely better Betacam system, also from Sony. And just for completeness, because somebody will point it out, around the same time over here in Europe, Philips released the VCR system. Yep, the OG VCR, or M1500 if you're nasty. On my totally arbitrary tier list, I would say U-Matic though. It's pretty mid. It's nothing to get excited about, but it is interesting to look at. So it's time to test this. If for some reason this does work, do remember I have done precisely fuck all to this machine apart from opening it up and taking the spiders out. So remember, the heads are probably absolutely covered in cack.
It's whispered quiet, you'd never know it was working.
There's no dropout compensation and there's definitely no time-based corrector. Calm down, internet, but we're going completely raw dog here, okay? That's if it works.
This is what I invited you round to see. I honestly don't know what's going to happen here, but we're going to try it in 3, 2, 1. We got a lock up. Well, colour me fucked. Let me move the camera.
Well, it seems to work, and on these colour bars, trust me, up close you could probably have a shave with these under desperation. There's a healthy dose of the normal U-Matic wobbliness, but do remember we're riding bareback here. And like yours truly, this tape is a worn out relic from the 80s as well. I'm going to throw up something more interesting than the bars because I do have a good copy of something here. Now, I have rubbed some anti-yeet cream into this video, but if it vanishes, you'll know why. And there's a picture-in-picture here so you can get a better idea of what's coming off the tape. And the audio's a straight DI too. So I'd be lying if I said there wasn't any cack encroaching onto this. But to be honest, for a nearly 40-year-old U-Matic tape, it's definitely getting a pass. And doubly so for a machine that was found laying by the side of the road.
Sometimes you're better off dead. There's a gun in your hand that's pointing at your head. You think you're mad, too unstable, kicking in chairs. Too many shadows, whispering voices, faces on posters. Too many choices. If, when, why, what, how much.
What's next for this machine? Well, if you do have some side panels for one of these, drop me a comment below because I'll quite happily pay you for them. But this machine, well, let's just say this machine's got more of a story to come yet, and we'll pick that up another day. So there we go, we've covered a lot in around about 10 minutes if I've got this right. Thanks for watching, and like I said, this machine may end up saving a lot of U-Matic recordings.
But that is definitely a story for another time. I've got another video coming up within the next week or so. We're going to step away from video stuff and just look at some slightly different old tech, and then we'll be back with all of this video nonsense. So I hope you enjoy it. This is only my second video, so do that thing in the first one I promised I'd never ask you to do again. I've got 4 extra ones since the last one. Anyway, enough of that crap. Cheers for watching.